Well, I grew up a half mile from my home church, and so I grew up in the church. Was there every minute the doors were open, and really just loved being there. I loved people, loved being at the church, loved God. I went, though in my senior year I had decided to go to state college where basically the rest of my family had graduated from, and so decided to just go there, and I spent a year there, and really it was a year where I had kind of free reign to do whatever I wanted. And so I experienced a lot of different things there at that state college when I was away from my mom and dad and church, really. And so for that whole year, it was really just kind of me discovering my faith instead of having my parents' faith. And at the end of that year and that summertime is when I really felt like God calling me into the ministry, and that's when I decided to shift from going to that state college, and that's where I ended up over at the Bible college there in Cincinnati.
We met on the campus of Cincinnati Bible College. I was living there so that I could have the Christian environment, but I went to University of Cincinnati. And he called me up one day. I had met him previously through a mutual friend, but didn't necessarily remember it too much. And so he called me up and
so impressionable.
Asked me out on a date, and I didn't really want to go, but he caught me off guard, and so I said yes. And we've been married now for, it'll be 15 years in June. We had been at Southeast Christian Church for a couple years, and that church is modeled adoption for us. There were lots of families at that church that had adopted internationally, and it became normal to us. I know to many people it's not normal, but to us it was normalized, and it became something so powerful in my heart and in my mind. Everywhere I looked, everything I read, everything I saw was just, we are going to adopt a child. And so I told Mark that that's what we were going to do as well.
We kind of embarked on a, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 year journey of her persistently and patiently and sometimes passionately bringing in this topic up of adoption. And I remember very clearly one day I remember just having this prayer time with God and just saying, okay, God, obviously this is a tension in our relationship here, and but you know my desires as a man, and yet I also know you have your plan, and so I'm just gonna give that over to you, God. And it was just like automatic. I had a peace in my heart after that, and I went and told Michelle about that, and she didn't really necessarily believe me yet, but that's what got us started in the real conversation about adoption. Was after I think God just kind of said, hey, you know what, I'll take care of the rest of that stuff. You just let me worry about the here and now. And really it was just at that point is when we really started to pursue the adoption process.
We started out in 2005. We adopted Jackson from Taiwan. And then in 2007, we adopted Levi from Vietnam. And then we just brought home Justice and Solomon from the Dominican Republic about 11 months ago.
And so on the tail end of our adoptions and for the Dominican Republic, we started feeling like God was doing something different in our lives, in our ministry that we had in Los Angeles. And over that process, we began to feel like God was kind of releasing our passion from that church. And so in the process is when I ended up talking to my friend Doug Parks here at Canyon Ridge. And he said, hey, we're actually in the process of looking for somebody to help us launch this new campus. And yeah, Vegas seems a little more raw, a little more rough at times, but I think that was one of the reasons why we felt called here, was that there is such a huge opportunity to join in with Canyon Ridge and their mission, Seek and Save the Lost, to really win a lot of people, hopefully, to Jesus and to know His saving grace.